Alright, in this video I'm going to show you how to convert a photograph into various types of artwork. Pencil sketch, some kind of marker study, maybe a watercolor here, another marker, and then some kind of a pen and ink outlines. And there's the original photograph. But that's not all. You can create so many versions of illustrative-like artwork off of a single image automatically and relatively quickly. And I made a little MP4 of all the image sequences that I just kicked out, and as you can see, this is like 1 frame per second. There's a lot of variations based off of this photograph, and I've made it easy for you in that I've written all the code to do this, and if you want to twiddle with it, there's some obvious parameters that can be changed, and you can get completely different results than what I got here. I kind of was going for a painterly, artistic, illustrative, technical drawing kind of a look with some flair. The thing I want to point out is that these are all signed down here. Every single image. That's not what I meant to do. Each image is signed, and that's just overlaying a PNG of a signature over the top. All right, here's another example. Here's some of the output. Lots of different variations, some of which I don't find desirable, but it's all just part of the experimentation process. See if I can find one that I like. I mean, that's kind of cool. It's kind of abstract. This is something that I don't like, which is when you get too much sort of obvious looking banding, then it starts to look like it was made by a computer rather than by a human hand. But some of this stuff, like, these general outlines it is interesting how it gets laid out like that. So to get this effect, like I said, I'm going to give you the script for free that I've concocted over the past year or so. I've been playing around with this, and I wrote it in Python. Process uses 2 different main libraries, and that is CV2 as well as PIL, just because I've been using PIL a long time and I'm kind of lazy, so I end up using PIL and CV2. You want to go in here and update. You have the option to update things. You can change the signature. That's just an overlay. It could be a logo. Maybe it should be a logo. And then if you have a folder full of JPEGs or PNGs, or maybe they're all caps, this isn't super robust here, so I just have JPEG hard-coded in there. All right, so behind the scenes, we're doing Python, CV2, PIL, and behind the scenes is canny edge detection. That's basically it. Now, my computer's pretty old, so it takes about 5 minutes to generate, I don't know, 85 images or so from a single photograph. So your mileage will vary. Actually, that's a nice one. That one's not too bad either. That's kind of cool. So a lot of what's going on is just iterating over a previous, what's the right phrase? Permutation. So here I've got a painterly effect with some very, I don't know, there's not a lot of lines in here, but like the next, if I toggle ahead, this one's got more lines, and that's all. Those kind of variations are set up in the code very easily with basically like minimum, maximum kind of settings on the canny edge detection. So you get the idea. What I want to do is start from scratch with something and show you how to get started. So this isn't really like a coding tutorial. It's more like, hey, you can do this with your photos. It could be useful to you, maybe not, but the idea is that it exists, and I'm going to give you the script. Yeah, so you can get the code up here on this repo that I'm going to make right now called automatically make art from your photos. It's a pretty cool photograph as far as the colors go. Like, these airplanes are really bright, and for some reason there's blue paint, blue stripes on the ground. Those are cool. And all this orange stuff, of course, is neat. That's what I like about this technique, is that it calls out things that I normally would maybe not be seeing. Like, they're color studies, basically. What else do I want to say about this? So you just run the script, and it's not completely robust, but it's just kind of a way to tell you what's going on. I'm saving a painting with edges. That's what it saved, is this PNG, for example. Now, check it out. You see how pixelated it gets? That's kind of cool too. There's things you could do to this too to make it even look more like a pencil sketch. It kind of is getting there, but it does have that sort of canny edge detection vibe going. This is cool here. All those lines. I would never sit there and draw that by hand. That's kind of why I wrote this, is I wanted to get these kinds of details, these technical illustration details. But I'm just far too lazy to sit down with a pen and do the work. I mean, not when I can make the computer get, maybe 80% of the way there for me. Just going through here. So here's some more things you can do with edge detection. This is a blend of very tight edge detection and very sloppy and loose edge detection, to the point where the line is breaking. And then where we're getting the color is that we're applying a CV filter called oil painting. So by blending different oil painting settings with different edge detection settings, you can come up with these kinds of sort of spontaneous looking outlines. It depends on the aesthetic you're going for, but like you get parts of things and that's cool. Here's some pieces of cars, pieces of airplanes, some interesting color choices down here, pieces of figures. Here's one that's a little less detailed. And here's one that's getting more detailed, but it's still very much like a study, like a quick sketch. This guy's missing his head and so forth. This is cool. It's kind of like very sloppy coloring book technique. In a way, this one's kind of done. This is a good picture, I think. These loosey-goosey ink fills, but you get some watercolor effects down here. These overlay washes. And this nice, like, just, blah. Just put a quick splotch of ink down. All right. Well, this computer, it tends to overheat it a little bit because of the impact on the GPU, I imagine. Yeah, something. Something. Okay. So there's the script. All right, to get started, you want to drop your images into the input folder. I've grabbed a few new images. This one, and some buildings being constructed. Okay, question is which one? Might as well just run them all. Back over here, right, we'll run watercolor painter, version 11, and we'll wait. So the first thing it does is it creates an EQ version of the photograph, equalized. So there's a cool edge detection, very sloppy, very loose lines, but that can be used as boundaries for a watercolor pass, like so. Starting to look very illustrative already. The clouds are looking pretty neat. These are looking great. Look at those contrast variations. I like, actually, that's great. A coloring book kind of a vibe. A charcoal and pencil sketch. After a while, they all kind of do start to look alike, and you get a little jaded about which one's the best one. Now here's the EQ version of the overpass from the freeway. You almost get like a film effect almost. You get like these light leaks in the sky. Not intentional, but cool nonetheless. And it looks like old Polaroid film. Here's some outlines. This turned out good because it's clean. A lot of times, with certain settings, concrete, gravel, anything that's an aggregate or has a rough looking surface is going to get real nasty. But this is remarkably clean, and there's detail where you want it, which is over here on this building structure. So that's pretty sweet. All right, we tracking? I think we're tracking. Like, look at the comparison of these two things, the original and the painting. It does seem like, to me, depending on the distance, or the magnification level makes it look more or less like an illustration or more or less like computerized artwork. The architectural stuff always looks neat, but I'm surprised how good the concrete looks over here. That's a neat edge pass. Look at that. It's clean. And then there's a big loosey-goosey version of it. There's a nice pencil version. And these look like the film went bad or something. So this is what double EQ does. A couple of these photos were already EQ'd, so this one is double EQ'd. It's pretty cool. I like it. And there's a watercolor. I want these colors instead of the original colors. The script doesn't currently do that, but I could add that in pretty easily. Yeah, this one's cool. This thing's finally done. The computer is glowing red. Zokeji. So this is a house being constructed in an adjacent neighborhood. It starts to look like some kind of architectural inspired artwork. Let's get into this. It's a funny thing about this place, they're building it, but the construction site is just a dump. They're doing a terrible job of I don't know why I'm whispering. Just try to keep it clean. Let's see what this one is. Ah, yes, the ship. So that's the EQ version of the ship. Very nice. You gotta pay an artist a lot of money to get him to do this. Hey, I want you to make that Santa can bright green the way they are in real life. Yeah, that's, it takes a special kind of paint. This one's interesting. All of these very approximated outlines are doing quite nice in this situation. Yeah. All right. That's cool. Here's another, wait a minute, that's that Shinagawa. Yeah, that's cool. Cool. This is the view from Nagoya Castle. Nagoya is like my favorite city in Japan. Photos of cities, skylines, and this kind of construction, architectural stuff works great. Faces, not so much. And I don't know if I want to do a thing on faces right now. No, I don't. Well, I might as well wrap this up. That's about it. So I showed you how to download it, get the code, how to run it. Yeah, I wanted to just say that there's a lot of articles out there on how to do this, and I have something that I put together on my website that talks about the steps and some of the code involved if you want to get a little deeper. And I found this guy, Adrian Rosebrock. I use one of his methods that he illustrates on his website, so check that out. Yeah, okay, now I'm done. Enjoy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tonight on the radio, this is how it's gonna go. Yeah. Play the tune in June. Play till you turn blue. That's what you're gonna do. Feel alright about it too. Nothing else to do, and that's why it's the blues, yeah, the blues. You know what they do. They turn blue. That's what they do. But I feel good too. How about you? Yeah, oh, eat your yeah-ohs, buy them today, and let your blues go away, yeah. All night, baby, flying high, flying high. Yeah.
Watch that!